Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Alright, so it looks like we are reaching a place where maybe they lasted on those barracks onto ships or something like that. It looks like that. But I do want to take my time to look around here. And it's almost like this entire place is forgotten. Not a living soul to be found. But what do I know? All of a sudden it is probably gonna jump up something scary and throw me off the chair. And I don't know, I find the music to be, in a way, kind of disturbing. I mean, it's a very beautiful place. The ships are all wrecked. And that over there is the pole again.
All night the boy has kept me lucid. I sat when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island. I sat at the edge and I watched the idiot boy blink through the night. He's mute and he's retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Okay. So I guess we're gonna make our way down here, but it looks like the path continues over there, so I'm gonna go around and look through these barracks if it's possible. And since we can't jump, I can't really make my way up there, so I wonder what happened, really. I mean, this place is looking not good at all. Something really, really bad must have happened. Ooh. I can hear something in the distance. And it's so quiet, except the natural sounds of the wind and the grass blowing. Or the wind blowing through the grass, I should say.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Never did he eat nor drink. Alright. Don't really know what to make out of that, but I'll take it. I'm gonna move ahead here. This game is kind of strange, to be honest, but I guess, or maybe I should say I do hope that the ending is going to be something amazing that sorta connects everything together. That would be amazing.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Okay. And I do get a little bit uncomfortable every time that man talks. I'm not really sure why, but...
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss?
Ooh,
How many dead
that is actually
shepherds could
scary
fill
to look
this
down
hole?
there. I'm gonna move away. Get up there. Alright, gonna backtrack a little bit and that should do the trick. So I guess you could say that less is more is a very good expression when it comes to this game. And as far as I know, it's not very long. I think it's about an hour or something like that. There is another house, finally. And a lot of different patterns, what it seems like.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Oh, that is creepy. Man, the song is giving me the creeps. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
So
When
I guess
the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs, and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
And maybe I'm just being very slow here, but I can't seem to puzzle it all together from what the man says to us. But I guess the man he was talking about lived here, in that house. It's a very nice spot to have a house on, though. I mean, look at the view, the surroundings and whatnot, but it's very creepy at the same time, so I'm not really sure that I would be comfortable living here, to be honest, but maybe once in a while, during the summers, you know, go down to the beach, take a bath, swim around a little bit and have a barbecue or something like that. That would be pretty nice. And over there is another entrance to a cave. Having a hard time imagining how to enter it though. But nothing is impossible, they say. It seems like the place is filled with mysteries and whatnot, and I'm prepared for whatever, really. The game is like an open book at this point.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
So we're back at the beach, what it seems like, and
They found Jakobsen in
he's
early
going to talk some
spring.
more.
The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the Bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring.
Whew. So, this is like the skeleton of a boat or a ship. Kind of weird actually to be standing in it. It's like a skeleton of a dinosaur or something like that, and we are about to go into that cave, what it looks like, and man, so intense.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves. Winter tides
Man,
against
the
my
sounds.
shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have certainly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Oh no, don't say that we're about to go down here. Man, this game is giving me the creeps. I cannot really tell you why, but... Okay, I'm gonna jump down here. Ah! Oh! Man, it is so intense! Ah, I'm having goosebumps and I'm sweating. Ah, didn't like that at all.